The Life and Legacy of Georgy Zhukov from Birth to Fall. Georgy Zhukov stands as one of the most prominent figures in military history, renowned for his strategic brilliance during World War II. His life story is a compelling narrative of humble beginnings, meteoric rise, and eventual decline. This documentary will take you through 20 pivotal sections, detailing Zhukov's journey from his birth in the Russian Empire to his later years, highlighting key events that shaped his legacy. Early life and background. Georgy Konstantinovich Zhukov was born on December 1, 1896 in Strelkovka, a small village in the Kaluga region of Russia. He grew up in a peasant family, which instilled in him a sense of resilience and hard work from an early age. His childhood was marked by the struggles of rural life, but it also offered him the opportunity to develop a strong sense of discipline. Zhukov's early education was limited, as he often had to help his family with farming. However, his inquisitive nature and determination led him to seek knowledge beyond his immediate environment. By the age of 10, he had begun to read military literature, which sparked a lifelong fascination with the art of war and strategy. In 1915, at the age of 18, Zhukov enlisted in the Russian army, marking the beginning of a significant chapter in his life. This decision was not only a personal ambition, but also a reflection of the tumultuous times in which he lived, as World War I raged across Europe. Military education and early career. Zhukov's military career commenced during World War I, where he served with distinction. He quickly rose through the ranks, demonstrating exceptional leadership skills and strategic insight. His experiences in the trenches shaped his understanding of warfare and the importance of logistics. In 1917, amidst the chaos of the Russian Revolution, Zhukov found himself in a precarious situation. He initially supported the Bolsheviks, believing that they would bring stability to Russia. However, as civil war erupted, he faced the harsh realities of factional conflicts and the struggle for power. Zhukov's military education continued after the revolution, as he attended various military schools. His commitment to improving his knowledge and skills paid off, and by the early 1920s he was recognized as a capable officer within the Red Army. The interwar period and rise through the ranks. The interwar years were critical for Zhukov's professional development. He played a key role in modernizing the Red Army, focusing on military strategy and tactics. His innovative ideas, particularly in mechanization and combined arms operations, garnered attention from Soviet leadership. In the late 1920s, Zhukov was appointed to various important posts, where he oversaw military exercises and training programs. His focus on discipline and efficiency helped to reshape the Army's approach to modern warfare, setting the stage for future conflicts. However, these years were not without challenges. The political purges of the late 1930s posed a threat to many military leaders. Zhukov managed to navigate these turbulent waters, emerging as a trusted figure within the military hierarchy, which would prove crucial as World War II approached. The outbreak of World War II. As tensions in Europe escalated, Zhukov's expertise became increasingly vital. The Soviet Union initially signed a non-aggression pact with Nazi Germany in 1939, allowing for a temporary reprieve. However, this alliance was short-lived, and the invasion of the Soviet Union in June 1941 dramatically altered the course of the conflict. Zhukov was appointed as the Chief of General Staff just before the invasion, which positioned him at the forefront of the Soviet military response. The early months of the war were marked by severe losses and retreats, testing the resolve and strategy of the Red Army. Despite these setbacks, Zhukov's strategic acumen began to emerge. He advocated for the defense of key locations and the mobilization of reserve forces, which laid the groundwork for a counter-offensive against the advancing German army. The Battle of Moscow. One of Zhukov's most significant contributions during World War II was his role in the Battle of Moscow. In late 1941, as German forces closed in on the Soviet capital, Zhukov orchestrated a successful defensive strategy. He emphasized the importance of winter warfare and the effective use of Soviet troops. Zhukov's ability to inspire his soldiers and coordinate multiple military units was instrumental in halting the German advance. His foresight in anticipating German tactics allowed the Red Army to mount a counter-offensive that pushed the enemy back from the gates of Moscow. The victory at Moscow solidified Zhukov's reputation as a master strategist and earned him the respect of Soviet leadership, including Joseph Stalin. This success marked the beginning of a series of victories that would turn the tide of the war in favor of the Soviets. The Siege of Leningrad. Following the victory in Moscow, Zhukov's attention turned to the Siege of Leningrad, one of the most devastating confrontations of the war. The city faced a prolonged blockade by German forces, leading to severe humanitarian crises. Zhukov recognized the strategic importance of Leningrad both symbolically and militarily. Zhukov implemented a series of supply routes and counterattacks aiming to relieve the city and break the siege. His relentless determination and innovative tactics helped sustain the city's defenders, despite the dire circumstances. By early 1943, the siege was finally lifted, thanks in part to Zhukov's leadership. The triumph in Leningrad not only boosted Soviet morale, but also showcased Zhukov's ability to manage complex military operations under extreme pressure. The Battle of Stalingrad. The Battle of Stalingrad became a turning point in the war, with Zhukov playing a pivotal role in the Soviet strategy. Appointed to oversee the defense of the city, he coordinated a fierce resistance against the encroaching German forces. The battle was characterized by brutal urban warfare and high casualties on both sides. Zhukov's meticulous planning culminated in Operation Uranus, a counteroffensive that encircled the German Sixth Army. This bold move caught the Germans off guard and effectively trapped them in a devastating encirclement, forcing their surrender in early 1943. The victory at Stalingrad not only marked a significant military triumph, but also served as a psychological boost for the Soviet Union. Zhukov emerged as a national hero, celebrated for his strategic foresight and unyielding commitment to the Soviet cause. The Battle of Kursk. In mid-1943, the Battle of Kursk represented another critical moment in Zhukov's career. This confrontation was the largest tank battle in history, and Zhukov was tasked with preparing the Soviet defenses against the anticipated German offensive. His extensive knowledge of armored warfare became essential in shaping the Soviet strategy. Zhukov emphasized the importance of counter-battery fire and defensive fortifications. His plans allowed the Red Army to absorb the initial German assault effectively, mitigating potential losses and maintaining a strong defensive posture. Following the successful defense, the Soviet forces launched a counteroffensive, resulting in a decisive victory. The Battle of Kursk marked the beginning of a series of successful Soviet offensives that would gradually push the Germans back toward their own borders. Leadership style and relationships. Zhukov's leadership style was characterized by a combination of discipline, strategic innovation, and an unwavering commitment to his troops. He was known for his hands-on approach, often visiting the front lines to inspire and assess the morale of his soldiers. His relationship with Joseph Stalin was complex. While Zhukov was one of Stalin's most trusted generals, he also navigated the treacherous waters of Soviet politics. Their relationship was marked by mutual respect, but also tension, as Zhukov often had to balance military strategy with political considerations. Zhukov's ability to forge strong relationships with his fellow commanders contributed to his success. He valued collaboration and shared knowledge, fostering a sense of unity among the various branches of the Soviet military. The liberation of Eastern Europe. As the war progressed, Zhukov led key offensives that liberated large swaths of Eastern Europe from Nazi occupation. His strategic prowess was instrumental in the successful advance into Poland and the subsequent liberation of Warsaw in January 1945. Zhukov's approach combined rapid maneuvering with the use of overwhelming force. He effectively coordinated diverse military units, ensuring that supply lines remained intact and that troops were well supported in their operations. The liberation of Eastern Europe had significant political implications. Zhukov's successes solidified Soviet influence in the region, laying the groundwork for post-war geopolitics and the establishment of Soviet-aligned governments across Eastern Europe. The final push towards Berlin. In early 1945, the focus shifted toward Berlin, the heart of Nazi Germany. Zhukov was appointed to lead the Soviet offensive, tasked with capturing the city before the Western Allies could arrive. This mission would require not only military might, but also strategic cunning. Zhukov's plan involved a multi-pronged attack, utilizing encirclement tactics to maximize Soviet advantages. His ability to adapt to changing battlefield conditions was critical in overcoming the fortified German defenses. As the Red Army advanced towards Berlin, Zhukov's troops faced fierce resistance. However, his leadership and determination ensured that the Soviet forces maintained momentum, culminating in the fall of Berlin in May 1945. The capture of Berlin. His forces advanced into the city from the east, coordinating with other Soviet troops to encircle and crush remaining German resistance. The rapid progression of Soviet forces shocked many, as they encountered both a disorganized enemy and a civilian population in turmoil. Zhukov's attention to detail and his ability to inspire his troops were evident during the brutal street fighting. He emphasized the importance of morale, ensuring that soldiers understood the significance of their mission to liberate the city and end the Nazi regime. His insistence on pushing forward, despite the heavy losses, demonstrated his commitment to achieving a decisive victory. On May 2, 1945, the city officially fell to Soviet control, marking a monumental moment in both Zhukov's career and world history. The victory was celebrated throughout the Soviet Union, with Zhukov hailed as a national hero. The capture of Berlin not only ended the war in Europe, but also positioned the Soviet Union as a superpower in the post-war landscape. Post-war recognition and challenges. Following the war, Zhukov was celebrated as one of the Soviet Union's foremost military leaders. He was awarded the title of Marshal of the Soviet Union and received numerous honors, including the prestigious Order of Lenin. His fame extended beyond the military. He became a symbol of Soviet resilience and strength. However, the post-war period also brought significant challenges. The political landscape was shifting, and Stalin's increasing paranoia led to a re-evaluation of military leadership. Zhukov, despite his hero status, became a target in the political machinations of the Kremlin. His popularity among the public and the military raised concerns among the Soviet leadership. In 1946, Zhukov was appointed to key positions in the Soviet military, but he faced mounting pressure as Stalin sought to consolidate power. The dynamics of the post-war environment complicated his efforts to influence military policy and strategy, leading to tensions within the ranks. The Cold War and political struggles. As the Cold War emerged, Zhukov's role within the Soviet military began to evolve. He was tasked with adapting the Red Army to new challenges, including nuclear strategy and the growing threat of NATO. His experience in conventional warfare remained invaluable, but the changing nature of conflict required new approaches. Zhukov's relationship with Stalin continued to be strained. His advocacy for a more modern military strategy often clashed with Stalin's conservative views. This divergence led to increased scrutiny from the political elite, who began to view Zhukov's popularity as a potential threat. In 1948, Zhukov was removed from his position as the commander of the Soviet forces in Germany, signaling the beginning of his decline. The dismissal was a political maneuver, reflecting Stalin's desire to eliminate potential rivals within the military hierarchy. The aftermath of Stalin's death. The death of Joseph Stalin in 1953 marked a turning point for Zhukov and the Soviet military. In the power vacuum that followed, Zhukov sought to re-establish his influence within the military and the Communist Party. He was reinstated to key positions, including as the Minister of Defense, where he aimed to modernize the armed forces further. Zhukov's leadership style began to shift as he adapted to the new political environment. He focused on promoting younger officers and implementing reforms that emphasized technological advancement and military readiness. His efforts resonated with many in the military, who viewed him as a progressive leader. However, the political landscape remained tumultuous. Rival factions within the party vied for control, and Zhukov's reformist agenda faced resistance from conservative elements. Despite his efforts, he struggled to maintain his position amid the shifting alliances of post-Stalin politics. The 1956 Hungarian Uprising. In 1956, the Hungarian Uprising posed a significant challenge to Soviet authority in Eastern Europe. The revolt against the Soviet-imposed government highlighted the tensions within the Eastern Bloc. Zhukov, in his capacity as Minister of Defense, was tasked with responding to the crisis. Zhukov advocated for a measured approach, emphasizing the need to stabilize the region without resorting to excessive force. However, the Soviet leadership ultimately opted for military intervention, leading to a brutal crackdown on the insurgents. This decision created a rift between Zhukov and hardline leaders, further complicating his position. The fallout from the Hungarian uprising affected Zhukov's standing within the party. His attempts to promote a more lenient policy were seen as a challenge to the authority of the communist leadership. As a result, he faced increasing isolation, which foreshadowed his eventual political downfall. The fall from grace. By the late 1950s, Zhukov's fortunes had changed dramatically. His reformist ideas and previous successes were overshadowed by political rivalries and the growing influence of Khrushchev's leadership. In 1957, Zhukov was dismissed from his position as Minister of Defense, marking a significant fall from grace for the once celebrated general. Zhukov's removal was emblematic of the shifting tides within the Soviet Union, where loyalty to the party often took precedence over merit and capability. His absence from military leadership signified a broader shift in Soviet military strategy, as newer leaders sought to distance themselves from the legacy of wartime heroes. Following his dismissal, Zhukov lived in relative obscurity, reflecting on his legacy and the changing landscape of Soviet politics. His contributions to military strategy and national defense remained significant, but he was no longer in a position to influence the direction of the Soviet armed forces. Reflections on legacy. In his later years, Zhukov reflected on his life and the complexities of his military career. He authored his memoirs, providing insights into the strategies he employed and the challenges he faced during the war. His writings offered a candid perspective on the realities of leadership amid the chaos of conflict. Zhukov's legacy endured, as he was recognized not only as a military tactician, but also as a symbol of Soviet resilience. His role in key battles and his contributions to the Soviet victory in World War II remained central to his identity, despite the political challenges he faced later in life. Today, Zhukov is remembered as one of the greatest military leaders of the 20th century. His strategies and innovations continue to be studied in military academies worldwide, and his story serves as a testament to the complexities of leadership in times of war and peace. Death and commemoration. Georgy Zhukov passed away on June 18, 1974, in Moscow, leaving behind a complex legacy shaped by triumphs and trials. His funeral was a significant event, attended by thousands who came to pay their respects to a national hero. The Soviet government posthumously honored him for his contributions, ensuring that his memory would remain part of Soviet history. In the years following his death, Zhukov was commemorated in various forms. Monuments and memorials were erected in his honor, and his story continued to resonate with subsequent generations. Documentaries and films highlighted his military achievements, contributing to a lasting legacy. Today, Zhukov's life is studied not only for his military prowess, but also for the insights he provides into the nature of leadership, sacrifice, and the complexities of power in the 20th century. His journey from humble beginnings to the heights of military leadership serves as an inspiration, reminding us of the enduring impact of dedicated service. In conclusion, Georgy Zhukov's life is a remarkable narrative that encapsulates the struggles, triumphs, and complexities of military leadership during one of the most tumultuous periods in history. His strategic brilliance and unwavering commitment to his country shaped the course of World War II and left a profound impact on the Soviet military. Thank you for listening to this documentary on Georgy Zhukov. If you enjoyed this exploration of his life and legacy, please subscribe and check out our other videos for more insights into history's most fascinating figures. Your support helps us continue to bring these stories to life.